Hello, everyone. I'm Wil Bosbyshell, and I am a studio artist here at the McColl Center. One of the things that I am doing right now, and my major focus for my art, is I'm drawing. I'm doing very large drawings of trees and a lot of the detail within trees. And to do those drawings, I'm doing them actually rubbing on trees themselves or other textures. And so today I'm going to show you a really simple way to have a tree drawing. If you're doing one, go out into nature, draw a tree, and have it look super good with just by adding some textures. And so with that, before we switch to the demo, I'm going to show you a couple of my supplies. One of the things we're going to use is I'm going to suggest, against my father's wishes, that you go out into your garage and borrow some of your father's or your uncle's tools, namely this, the mat that they stand on or put on the workbench. He's probably said, don't touch his tools, but I'm ask for permission if you need to. So when we use this later, and this is just a texture piece of plastic, and this is sold for people mainly on their workbenches for hammering stuff. So I bet if you have someone who does some fixing around your house, they have something like this, but a piece of carpet will work or something like that. But I'm going to show you how to use this. Just a regular old sidewalk will work. It's awful like this. So something bumpy is what we're going to use later on. And I want to show you it's just a big mat. The other supplies I'm going to use is I'm going to use some pencils. I got 3 pencils. I got your regular pencil. Then I have a lighter pencil, a 6H pencil. And then I have a 3B pencil. So a middle pencil, a light pencil, and a dark pencil. Then I've just got a pencil sharpener. I get an eraser and one piece of just regular sketch paper. So those are all the supplies we're using for this. So here's a photo I took of a tree. You could just look at a tree outside your house or use a photo. And since I'm inside filming this, I brought a photo. You could walk outside and just use a tree in your yard. So what we're going to end up, I always like to show the end in mind. What we're trying to do is we're trying to do a drawing sort of like this. Because we're only taking 15 minutes, your drawing won't quite get to here probably, but if you work on a little bit longer than 15 minutes, like 30 minutes, you can get it to look like about like this. And then here is one I've worked on for just 15 minutes. So we hopefully will get there in a few minutes from now, in 10 minutes from now. Okay, so that's where we're going. So I'm just getting a regular sheet of sketch paper out. I got my reference photo over here. Okay, and then I am just going to draw. You could trace it. You can trace the tree if you want. I'm just going to get out my regular number 2 pencil. Sadly, you know this from taking tests. So it's your test pencil. And I am going to draw just a regular big old tree trunk using this tree as an example. And I'm going really fast. You don't have to go this fast. I'm going fast because it's a demonstration. Now you guys can draw slower. I have a couple of branches on this particular tree. Is weird. All the branches stick off one side. I don't know why that is, but we're just going to go with where the branches are. So there's my tree. I left out a couple branches. Okay. So then notice on here, there's sort of a line where there's light on this side, light's coming from over here, and shadow on this side, so they're grayer. Okay. So I'm going to sort of pick a spot right here where where this moss is and the shadow is sort of straight down the middle of this tree where it's really light on one side and light gray on the other. And I'm going to draw that line. I'm going to draw it wiggly. I'm just going to draw it wiggly if I can get. Just going to draw it in there. So we're drawing along here, just where the light meets the shadow on the tree. So on this side, I'm just drawing here's the sun over here. This is like the sun shining this way. So this is going to be the light side of the tree. And this is the dark side of the tree. So all these branches are going to be a little darker than this. So then I'm going to take that was my middle pencil. Then I'm going to take my lighter pencil, my 4H pencil, and I'm just going to color the whole tree. And if you go outside the lines, let's say go outside the line there. So what? Doesn't matter. You don't have to be that worried about being messy. Trees are messy. Just going to color the whole thing in there. The light part. So I didn't use any texture yet. Didn't use any texture yet. I forgot one other piece of equipment we're going to use. We're going to use a paper towel. So I'm not using the texture yet. So then I'm just going to rub all this in there. So I've got a little gray in there in the first place. So then, as you can see, I got my light side, I got my dark side. So now, and here's the part that most people don't do. I'm going to get out that mat that we borrowed from your uncle's garage. I'm going to stick that underneath. So that's underneath. Then I'm going to get out the darker pencil. So I'm going to get out my darker pencil, my 3B pencil, and I'm just going to color in. You can see over here, I'm going to color in where it's a little shaded on that side. So then this, as you can see, this is going to show up sort of bumpy. So it looks like it's tree bark already, and you haven't done anything to it. You haven't. It's all bumpy tree bark. People will think you spent hours doing all this texture. You can do this with carpet probably. You can do it on the sidewalk if you're outside. You can do it on the street. You can do it on the tree. So there I put my dark pencil. I did that in there. Then I'm going to come back in here with my light pencil. There's my light pencil, my 6H pencil, and I'm going to put some little light on this side, little bumpy. I'm even going to go around this side, some of that. So then you got the basics in there. You got your light side over here like this. I got this over here. Then I've got these dark parts over here. So now I'm just going to press down a little bit harder. It's like under this branch right here, there's a big shadow. So here we go. Basically put the shadow right there. Oh, picture is a little shiny. There's this shadow right here. And I'm going to put it right there. Then here's a shadow right here on this branch underneath. So again, I'm using my textured mat. Magic textured mat. Then under this big branch here, I got a big shadow. So I'm going to put that underneath there. There's a little shadow out there. I'm going to stick that in there. Here. And then up here, there's a big shadow. And then there's some algae out here. There's some moss or something like that. So let's put some little moss out here. Let's put a little moss out there. Again, I'm using my textured mat. And it's just little spots. But again, as you put it in, because you're using your textured mat, it comes out like it's bark. Then I'm going to put a few lines up and down just for like bark. A few lines going out the branches. So then you're pretty far along there. You got your light area like that. Then you got your light area here. You got your dark area into the shadows. You got your branches. But when I drew that line in there, I did that pretty lightly. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my middle pencil, go back to my test taking pencil, and I'm just going to carefully, a little bit carefully, a little more slowly, draw around the outside of the tree to make that line. So notice I'm messy here. So I'm gonna draw around the mess because it's bumpy. So then you're going to draw around your line here. Maybe because you bumped out there, you can make that a branch. Just make that a branch. We'll fill that in later. So if you're bumpy, that's one reason. Be bumpy, trees are bumpy. Again, I'm drawing with my textured mat, so it's going to be bumpy. So you can't help but getting that bumpy look, which is what trees look like. The bumpy mat forces you not to draw a straight line. If you make a little mess up, just have that be a bumpy part of the tree. So do that side. Then we're going to come over here and do this side. Are you still in the camera there? Yeah. So there's a bump on the side of that tree. Right there. Just drawing that little bump over there. That's a mistake. I'll erase that. I'll get out my eraser and erase that. There's a limb. Okay. And then you can do all kinds of details if you want. There's some other bark over there, a little moss. You could put that moss in. One of the things I didn't do on this tree that was nice to do is I did draw a small branch. So let's put a little small branch in here. I put that branch in there. Let's put one more small branch in there. Let's put it right here. Let's just pretend that little branch right here coming up is right here. Just so we have one small branch. Middle there. So there's your tree. Looking pretty good. You could keep working on it. You can keep working on it a little bit longer. This is pretty fast. This is 10 minutes. So if you work on about 30 minutes and put some more shadows in there and some more moss, then the more detailed it will look. There you go. And that is the way I'm actually using texture to draw on my own trees that I'm working on right now in my studio at the McColl Center. And I hope you will take the time to come by the McColl Center and visit me and all the other studio artists that are here and the artists that are here in residency and see all the artwork that they're doing. They're doing all kinds of different neat stuff. It's worth visiting. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.